Hello and welcome to game 1 of the 425 tournament. This is Powerman vs. PerroPerro. In this match, I'm here running my tricolored trample duck, matched up against an interesting deck from PerroPerro, which is his mono blue deck. It's relying on Venomancer and prellex here. As far as your usual tricks and traps of the mono blue lines, which Perro is an expert at. Overall, going into this match, I felt my deck should line up really well against this deck. Reasons being that the wall of creeps that you find either through prellex and call the reserves, which he plays 3 of, and Venomancer, none of them really respond well to, just getting
Let's
trampled over
show
the
them what
top
we
of
can do.
and having
Sounds good
their
to
blocks
me.
ignored. Unfortunately, the game starts with him, getting Ignite to lead out, which is, sort of the ideal for this kind of traditional ogre CM setup. Not particularly good for my deck, especially you're going to see it's not good for Sorlakan. So Sorla is going to take 1 damage on upkeep and die next turn, basically, because the Venom Ward spawning here. She's also getting ignited. So that's 3 damage plus the 1 upkeep damage on the K. And my hand, on the other hand, is very bad. When you draw my deck, what you really want to draw is a couple of the green cards. You really want to see Unearthed Secrets, or alternately, you really want to see Atrophy Aura come out. I don't get any of that. I don't actually get any green card at all. Sometimes you can just play even just like a miscellaneous green creep, but that's generally pretty bad against blue. Here I'm just debating what I want to play, if anything, given that Sorla is just certainly going to die. The side that I don't want to invest too heavily in this, but I do kind of want him to think that I want to invest in this, just so that I can have a better chance to play SF in another lane, and things like this, and maybe just come back to here later, because you can't leave the meta lane alone forever. You basically have to come back with Tide and try to shut it down. Unfortunately, this Greevil makes this a real nightmare for a couple reasons. Reason 1, and the reason I played the Saw Ladders, is that it would keep me from getting 20, stop me from getting Infernal Amulet. So it made me commit harder to this lane with ladders when I really didn't want to commit any harder, to knowing that Sorla is going to die. So not only did it make me commit, but Sorla dies into upkeep, so there's no chance to even heal.
Death comes to those who would despoil this
I would play here
place.
thinking I would bounce with SF, but I knew basically that Sorla was dead, and that say that I put SF in her place, SF would take 2 damage plus the decay from here, and 1 damage plus decay here. So honestly, SF would just die the next turn, minus the Infernal Amulet. But it's also entirely possible that he would just have some sort of nuke, because even just the instant tick damage was going to take him down to 2 health. So I could have died before I got this, and in fact he did have Lightning Strike, so he would have been in a position to stop it. I opted to go mid because I thought this was the least likely lane for him to block. So I go ahead and I had picked up
Die, Ice Witch!
Presence of the Dark Lord, and healing here, I'm able to kill CM, which should give me some momentum, but what's going on here is kind of a nightmare for the deck in terms of just the fact that I can't reliably even soften any lanes up at this point. Like, it's clear that he's going to end up having a second hero in this lane, which I've committed to. He already has 2 heroes in this lane, which, I initially did some damage to, and he's already doing damage in. So, it's, almost impossible to dislodge 2 heroes at once with this deck. I mean, if I had drawn a clear the deck here, that would be kind of ideal. Would have some chance of that in this game.
Not
Because
very
now I
impressive.
can't really do anything about this. Like, I have very limited amounts of removal, and it's not going to actually be able to take out both at any time, so I'm going to spend the whole game more or less worried about Echo Slam. Well, not Echo Slam, but, you know, things like the Sky Wrath ability comboing with Thunderstorm and other Sky Wrath abilities. I mean, on the plus side, the third lane is a little bit of a push, and like so far he doesn't have any damage, but you know, the issue is really just that even my Tidehunter is not going to be able to stay alive right here. Well, so don't have too many choices. I opt to go ahead and just kill so that, you know, I can hope to eliminate these Plague Wards.
Your death is an inevitability.
He goes ahead softening up my mid, so I figure he wants to kill them next turn or something like this, so I just go ahead and Mess Blessing here. This turn is just okay, but, you know, honestly, like, even this is not a solved problem yet. Thunderlord's been left in a place where he can kill any spell. You know, I haven't really been able to have enough charges to, you know, think that it could be reasonable to kill CM. Next turn I will. At this point I haven't been able to generate a lot of gold. So I'm just sort of debating what to do here. Because I can kind of get a hook net and then heal and maybe make some gold off of it. Especially considering, like, you know, creeps are a main way of pushing damage here, so I do go ahead and just opt to buy the hook net. It doesn't really push towers quickly. Here I line this up hoping to get a raid so that I can just, you know, maybe not get spit on and get a raid off. Of course this doesn't really work, and now I'm kind of at a loss here because I can either I'm just scared of, you know, Sorla being instantly killed by any of the nukes, and obviously mid is also vulnerable to dying to nukes. You know, I did get Path of the Bold and Fey Wayfinder to draw, and actually push damage in lanes, which, you know, basically gives me the option to ravage and then, you know, play all these cards if I had it. So, I mean, unfortunately though, you know, it's just, I'm just torn between just taking the damage here and trying to do something with my Tidehunter, who's not even going to get bounced anytime soon, and is likely just to die next turn. But I mean, this is an ineffectual Ravage to just save 7 damage. But that's really my only options. Like, I just have Fey Wayfinder.
15 seconds remaining.
It doesn't really make any sense to play it over here with its 34 life damage. And it doesn't really make too much sense to play it here either because, you know, he still has enough mana
5
that he could
seconds
actually
remaining.
kill the
3,
Wayfinder.
2,
I mean, if I knew for
1.
sure that I could kill the CM, it might have been worth it. Because on upkeep, I could have at least extinguished this and gotten to 5 souls and been able to kill. But I do just opt to do Path of the Bold. I think I pass here. Oh, I try to RNG the CM. Which, you know, maybe I would have been better off just doing the Fey Wayfinder play. I guess I would have gotten Let Me Strike, fortunately. And here I'm debating, like, I've spent my initiative, and it's obvious I'm not really going to get it back. I'm just debating, should I just go ahead and play my second Path of the Bold and like optimistically think that someday I'll get a green hero in here and play Wayfinder. I mean, my green heroes are unfortunately just stuck here. I could play cards if I can get a teleport off here, but given that there's only 2 health here, it seems unlikely that he's actually just going to live to get a teleport. But I mean, regardless, I don't really have any hope of, these Path of the Bolds ending up someplace useful anytime soon. Like, at this point, it's very sad for me. Even though it looks like I'm making progress on this tower and not much progress has been made on mine. He has 30 gold from, steadily killing my heroes. And, I can't really hope to, to push this tower very easily. So I have no way to, like, engage combat, and his deck is full of ways to stop. So he just goes ahead and straightforwardly blocks my SF.
You left me no choice. Now is the time to strike.
Yeah. So, see, his lightning strikes finally put to good use. In this case, what I decide is that, maybe I can make use of my Path of Bold. And the only, like, real positive thing is that, he didn't deploy 2 heroes left. Really the problem is that this CM is going to respawn next turn. But if the CM wasn't respawning, we'd actually be in good shape to just take out the tower relatively quickly. So, I mean, the reasoning here is basically I can just move can Dark Rift my little buddy here over. It could finally be, really useful. I can do Fey Wayfinder.
Crush you!
And finally change my tower damage into, sorry, my Path of the Bold into tower damage.
You can't stop me!
I mean, one unfortunate thing is that I actually killed that hero. Would have been better off if I hadn't. Here's like a questionable move where, like, he still wants to pass to get another 4 damage, and I took some time here to calculate because Hook Net, since it reduces creep armor by 2, as well as gives you +2, both these things actually will hit the tower when you're in a situation where trample is in effect. So equipping this gives me +4, which leaves me 1 shy. After a lot of internal debate about whether this 4 damage on this tower is better than the 4 damage on this tower, ultimately just decide that I'm going to go ahead and put the 4 damage because that'll guarantee that next turn, well, the turn after this, I'll be able to trebuchet down the tower, even if the opponent just opts to annihilation or anything over here. So, I mean, while it looks like I'm tantalizingly close to victory, things are really kind of falling apart,
has much to offer
because I can't really dislodge this, and it's going to be very difficult to actually, deal with 3 wards mid when I just have Thorla Khan deploying, who could just get insta-killed by these 2. And I have really no way to move these heroes around, because I had to use my Dark Rift to get into left lane. I have to wait 1 turn for this to, fall in order to try to move my heroes, and, it's just unfortunate, like... These guys will do so much damage once
the
they're
champion of the Sunken Isles?
I mean, I have very few options for doing anything. Like, I have a little bit of health to get for this, and through healing myself. I just decided I'm going to try to keep Tide alive. I don't know if I had any real better option. It was all just sort of desperation play. So I think here I just opt to heal my Omni.
Battle isn't over yet, my friend.
Although I miscalculated and
I
forgot
think
that
you
his
know.
berries is going. So I mean, on the plus side, Omni will get to come over, but you know, unfortunately, like all my actions are fairly meaningless. So at this point, like I have 4 decay on my tower, so it's guaranteed to go down to 7. I also need to put blockers in the way of these two, and you know, I basically have no hope to stop all these guys. The main reason for this game like going so badly was really just the awkwardness of hero, like that was kind of an ideal pace for the
You never had a chance.
for the blue deck here. You know, all the important lanes always had 2 for them, and I unfortunately had 1 hero stranded, and I basically couldn't get enough kills to like really be able to move my heroes around. Like it would have been nice if Omni, you know, had been given one of those hourglasses sooner. I mean, in this situation, like, you know, I can pretty much only cast like a meaningful spell and then teleport. So I just go ahead and use my Requiem to see if, you know, I was hoping that these 3 would die, and of course the opposite of what I wanted happened. I mean, I can teleport this over and play 2 creeps to block. At this point I'm sad because, you know, I technically had a kill, I think, on the tower with teleporting over. You know, up until that point. And that's game essentially. Like, I still have my untested grunt to block this guy, but you know, he does have TP scroll. And he
Ready
has
to
an
prove
additional
myself.
Con spear. So that was game 1. This was a big disappointment for me. Again, I really just you know, got off to a really bad start of this game. But there you have it. I mean, it just shows a lot of the strength of the mono blue. That's just very tough to beat a lot of times, even for a deck that I think matches pretty well against it. So that was game 1. GG's.